What's up, everybody? Welcome to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan. Today on George Reviews, we'll be taking a look at Hasbro's Hasbro Pulse exclusive 2-pack of Alpha Trion and Orion Pax. It is part of Transformers Legacy Collection. On the front of the box is Orion Pax laying on the repair table, Alpha Trion standing over him, about to attempt repair surgery and format him into Optimus Prime. Spoiler, Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime. If you didn't know, now you know. Of course you knew that. So the artwork is pretty darn awesome on this thing. It's huge. It's very colorful. On the side of the box we have a close-up image of Orion Pax with the damage to his chest. You can see through behind the glass. You can see his face grimacing from the pain. The back of the box is a product shot of Alpha Trion and Orion Pax in both modes, and Vector Sigma and the key to Vector Sigma within the packaging. Opposite side of the box is Alpha Trion. A different artwork than from the front of the box. Underneath the box, the artwork continues to Orion Pax's foot in the bottom of the table. Top of the box is the top of the repair room. It says Transformers Legacy, ages 8 and up. So let's get this box open and take a look. This is one of those repaints that we knew were coming. We figured, I actually called out the Orion Pax one in the cup, my cup review. No plastic inside the box that I can see where there's tape. There's clear tape, but nothing further in the box here. This is our set. Let's turn it around. And it's completely environmental friendly. There's no plastic housing. The instruction booklet. Here's the instruction booklet. All the tie downs are paper. Well, since I'm back here, let's get to it. Alright, that should do it. Spin it back around so we get these guys out nice and cleanly. Here is our Orion Pax figure. And for Alpha Trion, and wrapped in a tissue paper are the accessories. Man, boy, they are environmental friendly except for all the plastic they used in the toy. The stand, Energon goodie, accessories. And this ball here, more tissue paper. But here is Vector Sigma. I'm a little disappointed. It's like a copperish gold instead of a straight gold. Brass gold or whatever. Okay, for anyone who's interested in seeing the instruction booklet, someone might be, and we'll include it in the presentation, is do not choke on your finger. Little warning label right here, stuck in instructions. Here's the instructions, how large it is. It's pretty big for these two figures. I think there are 22 steps and 21 steps a piece. Let me see, 22 steps for Orion Pax. Yeah, it's 21 steps each. Looks like. So that is that. Alright fam, the first thing we're going to take a look at is Vector Sigma. And he's like this gold disco ball type of thing. Basically the heart and brain of Cybertron. Some people say a piece of the mind of Primus. And it's a translucent clear plastic. It's the same plastic as the base. You can see inside of this painted gold. And it could be like a brighter, more vibrant gold. This has like a little bit of a brassy look to it, but still looks cool. It's cool to have it in the collection. It comes in 3 pieces. Well, 2 pieces for the stand. And if you count the key, 4 pieces. This is the key to Vector Sigma. It has the ability to turn organic matter into metal or Cybertronian material. Same plastic, same paint, or whatever. So what we do is assemble this part as a T-shaped port right there, and this is T-shaped. Get it right in there. Take Vector Sigma, the slot for the keys right there, the hole for the ports right here, and bam! Then we can take the key and activate Vector Sigma. It's pretty cool, right? Next up, we're going to start with Alpha Trion. This is the guy I wanted to see most. Let's take a look at his face. Take a look how much he looks like the vintage cartoon. They basically nailed the vintage cartoon right there. Bringing him a little bit closer, if you take a look at Alpha Trion's crest on his head, you can see where mine has some overspray and it missed the crest and went on to the top of the forehead, and a little square right here in between the crest pieces. I don't know if it's supposed to be actually painted in that square, but it's off the mark if it is, or it could just be more overspray. But take a look at Alpha Trion. We just want to take a look at the differences between him and Scourge. He has a totally remolded chest. At first glance, it looks like they just painted across, but there is molding. You can see where it's lifted off of the main body sculpt right there from shoulder to shoulder across his chest. That's new, plus the paint apps. The new spikes on the shoulders are new. This whole area is remolded. The collar all the way down to his waist is remolded from Scourge. Even the arms down to the middle of the bicep cuts are completely different. It looks like from the forearms down is the same. Then they gave him 2 sets of open hands. When we got our Scourge figure, he had an open left hand. And then when we got our Sweep, he had an open right hand. But Alpha Trion still can hold the weapons because the main port is right here and it's still around. It will still hold his weapon regardless. His hands look to be painted over. I hope that's over a white plastic, but that appears to be paint. Same thing with the thighs. That appears to be paint. And the thighs are a remold as well. I'll bring out Scourge and we'll take a quick look side by side. But from the knee down, it appears to be the same. Scourge has paint right here that gives it an illusion of different sculpting, but it is the same. Sometimes in the cartoon, his feet were painted pink, but I don't know if that was a mistake or whatever. But these are like the rusted red color of his chest. But I believe they're supposed to match the cape parts right here. And the cape piece, this is a different piece than Scourge. We'll get to that when we bring it out. There's the same color paint in the back of his wings or cape right here. And of course, like, because he's a remold, he's not going to have the exact same cape from the cartoon because he remolded Scourge. And he's actually tabbed in. They're not tabbed in right now. I'll get them to tab in real quick. Alright, there we have it tabbed in. I guess because where he needed to fit it in the box, it wasn't tabbed in. But now Alpha Trion's all tabbed in. And he has the Autobot logo right here. That is cartoon accurate. And I don't see any other changes. This port right here that goes on the back of his head, they completely changed this piece. But we'll take a look at that once we get to his hovercraft shuttle ship mode thing or whatever. But this is our Alpha Trion. Now let's take a look at Alpha Trion next to the cartoon model right here. Now he looks a lot like the cartoon model, except for where they have to have the Scourge hovercraft pieces. Like, we've never seen Alpha Trion transform in a cartoon, so these kibble pieces on his back are gonna have to be there. You know, they tried to give us a representation of the cape right here by remolding it from the Scourge mold. This is what we got, but it still looks pretty darn good to me. I'm happy to have this figure. He looks fantastic, in my opinion. Now we're going to bring out Scourge himself. Well, this is a Sweep, but I use him as my Scourge. Just to take a look at further differences in these two. You can see the shell for the shuttle piece or the hovercraft piece is totally different. Where they tried to make it look like a cape, and they just didn't remold what was there. This is a totally new piece. It has molded in detail in here, right here, and it is painted over. It's like this the rust color red, and they painted it. It was just too hard for them just to cast it in a different color plastic, which would have been better than having to paint. So this is a different piece. Might as well bring Scourge closer with him. You can see the totally different mold to the chest and the collar on down on these two guys. I hope I'm getting them in so you get a good look. Again, the entire torso is different in the upper arms. Then when we get down to the thighs are different. He has this line in the middle that Alpha Trion does not have, but the feet are the same completely. And turning them over, and you can see the part I spoke about right here in the middle of the back is a remolded piece, but we'll get a better look at that in the shuttle mode. Oh, and one last thing, the guns. The guns are the exact same mold. We've never seen Alpha Trion even pick up a gun in the Generation 1, but I guess they had it included because it was part of the toy casting mold or whatever, but I'm happy to have it, you know. And again, even though his hands are open, the peg right here, the port, will allow him to hold the gun regardless. You know I had to do it. So, and again, this is what the closed hand looks like. In case you've never seen it, you probably have, but closed hand right there. And I think it would have been cool if they would have hit his toes with this pink, because again, there were times where his toes were depicted pink in the cartoon. Next up is our Orion Pax figure. We've got a few Orion Pax over the years lately. It was a time where you could not get an Orion Pax official from Hasbro or Takar, but now he is out there. We're going to start by taking a look at his face. His face sculpt is spot on to the cartoon. Let's pop a cartoon pic in here. Bam. Looks just like the cartoon. The forehead could have had a couple little creases in the corners above the eyes that are not present, but it still looks good. Taking a look at his helmet. Helmet looks good. They have a light piping port right here, but he has painted blue eyes that don't light pipe. This is a total, again, this torso piece is a total remold from Cup. It's completely different. They molded out this little vent right here, and they've even molded in the windows. The depression is not that deep into the chest, but it is definitely there where this is pushed back for this window right here. And they added a grill piece right there. It's cartoon accurate. This is the same from Cup. It just looks a little bit different because it is painted slightly different. Then the legs are painted white, which, man, it bugs me that we didn't get white plastic. You know that's gonna bump and it's gonna rub, and man, they just gave us a piece of white plastic right there. Jeez, you cheap bastards. The shins are new, and I believe this whole piece right here is new and different than Cup's. This matches the cartoon, or you can really see how different it looked when he blasted off at Megatron. You monster! Sort of foreshadowing his 86 epic entrance where he blasted off and attacked the Decepticons. He has a little bit of silver paint down here in the bottom of the feet, and this is accurate. This is a very slight detail. You would have to look close at the cartoon. I'm going to try to put a pic in so you can see where he has the silver on the bottom of his feet right here, and they actually included that. Turning around, everything else is the same as Cup. And what's kind of sucks a little bit is they used that bluish purple plastic right here at the joints, at the shoulders, and on top of the arms. This could have been all red, or they could have used this gray. But to make, I don't know, it makes it look a little bit cheaper, and it stands out like a sore thumb. And they actually remolded the fists from Cup. These are new fists, because Cup fists look a little bit too big for me, and they lost the detail. I don't know if it's because of this ugly blue paint over the top. It looks splotchy and thick. Just doesn't look good. They could have did a whole blue plastic here and then just painted this red. It would have looked a lot better. You wouldn't have to worry about the paint scraping off putting a gun in his hand. And I'll show you that with my Cup figure in a second. Bring Cup out here. Might as well just get him out here now. Alright, here's Cup for the comparison. Totally different chest. And we turn to the side, you completely see it. Totally different. Down here at the waist or the abdomen, that's the same, and the waist is the same. It's just painted much better on Cup. Thighs are the same, and then you get down here to the boots or whatever. Completely different, molded all the way down here. Even this little hinge down here is different. Then the feet are the same. Of course, the head is different. The back of the figure is identical in molding. Well, let's take a look at those hands. You can just see Cup has molded in knuckles, better defined and detailed fingers. So when you turn it, you see more knuckles, joint space right there. It looks a lot better. And other than these looking kind of big for Cup's body, they're a much better hand. And why spend the money to retool a hand unless they try to save money on a smaller hand? But they had to pay for the retool to get different hands. Like, why do that and we get a hand that's not as good? And here you can see Cup hand is painted over, and you see the scratches on the Cup, on my Cup hand from me or my son missing the mark, adding the accessory to his hand. Speaking of accessory, let's get Cup accessories out here. Let's get his Energon goodie and his gun. I'll do the same for Orion Pax. His gun is exactly the same as Cup's to his hand. And his Energon goodie, because he didn't have an Energon goodie, we're going to pretend like this is some type of energy sensor or data pad, because he didn't have this thing. He never had a gun either, or whatever. But it is identical to Cup's in every way. They just changed The paint apps going on here. They painted over the translucent parts on the Energon goodie. But here are our figures side by side. Now I'm going to switch to vehicle mode for these guys. I'm not going to transform them on camera to save some video. And plus, if you've seen the cup review and you know how to transform it, same thing with Alpha Trion. I'm just going to come back in vehicle mode and continue our comparison. Alright, jumping into our vehicle modes, let's bring them closer and take a look. You can see the exact same molding changes, but we just want to take a look at them in vehicle mode. You can see the vent stands higher, the little grill they added right here. It still looks like Cup, without a doubt. And G1 in the original toy line was all about repaints of the same mold, and this is no different. And you can see this would have been something they would have done in Generation 1. Turn around to the back, same molded in detail. So basically, other than the color and the front of the chest, this is what we're getting in the differences. He still rolls very well. Well, the mold still rolls very well, same as Cup. And this was a gorgeous Cybertronian mold from the Studio Series line in the Buzzworthy line. This is the Buzzworthy version. I got the Studio Series one somewhere, but only takes one. As you can see, Orion Pax in neither mode has an Autobot symbol, and I don't recall seeing him sporting an Autobot symbol in the cartoon. I think that's why it's omitted here. I wish they could have gave us a sticker sheet or something so we could add an Autobot symbol if we wanted to. Guess maybe he was factionless at the time in the cartoon. But this is the differences in the figures, and there is weapon storage. I didn't get into it in robot mode. There's weapon storage, the same thing from Cup. And I believe if you wanted to, you can store the Energon goodie, what we dubbed the new data pad, on this side of the vehicle, so he can carry everything in his vehicle mode. And again, looks great. Alright, here he is side by side with the Generation 1 Orion Pax, and no, this is not a custom. Somebody asked me, I had it in another review, and they were like, is that a custom job? No, this is an official Hasbro, I think Takara Japanese release of Orion Pax, and you can see the similarities. Alright, up next is Alpha Trion in this originator mold made Scourge. We'll start with Alpha Trion, take a look at him. You can see he has a newly molded cockpit right here into his vehicle form. You can see the crest from his head hanging out right there, which is actually kind of cool. I'm happy that it's kind of incorporated, not completely hidden. In the back, newly molded thruster or top of the ship right there. Everything else in the vehicle mode is the same from the top. Turning it over, you can see what was the cape portion underneath. And even in both modes, it should have been more to kind of cover this up. I'm going to compare in a second. Finish taking a look at him. And I would have liked to see some type of Autobot logo right here to kind of fill in this space a little bit. And then these portions, the hinges right here, it would have been nice if this was a completed purple right here. Just would have looked a little bit better. They could maybe hit it with some paint or use purple on his hinges, because I think these serve no purpose in his robot mode to kind of bring together the look. So this should have been purple plastic right here. Definitely. Now let's bring it closer, take a closer look. You can see this is remolded from Scourge. They didn't bother to paint his cockpit. You had to kind of look close and know that that's like where a humanoid type figure can fit inside right there. Anyway, it's molded different here and right here. But that is about it for the top. Well, the cone piece is different right here. Thruster, booster, whatever this thing is. And that's cool that they made that totally different. I do like that. Now, turning it over, these portions right here cover up the body much better. You got Alpha Trion's body just hanging out underneath. And they could have kept the exact same mold, just extended it to cover it up more. That would have been much better. And you can see he has like these molded in thrusters, I guess, to help him hover. And he has the same thing. They molded in these new pieces to just give him the thrusting motion. But definitely this part is kind of like, ugh. And a lot of people say, well, how many times are you going to turn it over? But still, even though, I mean, you know, he looks great like this, but like just, they could have covered that up better. Done much better over here. And of course, he has weapon storage as well. Boom, put his gun right here. And put his gun right here. Boom. Now this Scourge or sweep came with a blast effect. Alpha Trion does not have that blast effect. at all. I left that out of his molded portion for whatever reason. And not that I use it a lot, but I would like to have had it included as well, just to have more bang for my buck or whatever. A little bit of, the paint could have been a little bit better in some areas than this hanging out. It's a pretty darn good figure and a good use of the scored sweet mold. And to give Alpha Trion the same treatment, here's a Generation 1 Scourge, which the character's body is based off of. There's no actual Generation 1 Alpha Trion, even though I have the BotCon one, but it's still in the package and it's totally different. Yeah, here are the two molds side by side. We've seen these two, but we're going to make it official for the size up and rundown. Alpha Trion and Orion Pax flanked by Cup and Scourge, the mold mates. Generation 1 Megatron and Generation 1 Orion Pax. See Shockwave and Netflix Earthrise Optimus Prime. And finally, Generation 1 Scourge and Generation 1 Optimus Prime. Alright, for the size up and rundown for Vector Sigma, this is all I got basically. This is the Masterpiece MP10 edition. It came with like the re-release of the American release of MP10 Toys R Us version. It has a die-cast key, much oversized for Vector Sigma. Love the translucent ball though. He never really had a real stand. He had this paper stand you were supposed to push through, and it kind of said, yeah, it was trash. So I got it kind of sitting on this thing. And let's do a key comparison. Much more in scale key, much cooler key, but very similar. I mean, a key is a key, I guess, but they both pull off the look. And let's go for the balls. Same design to the Vector Sigma ball or whatever. Both are Vector Sigma. This looks cooler. This looks more scale size accurate to what we are trying to go for. Alright everybody, my final thoughts on this set. It is awesome. It's everything I wanted it to be. And if you enjoy the original molds, the Scourge and the Cup, which were excellent molds to me, the best looking official figures of Cup and Scourge, now the best official looking Orion Pax and Alpha Trion there is, period. And I'm at the point in my collection where I'm running out of space and I'm running out of money, so I don't buy or recommend repaints easily. But these are totally different characters. They're a step beyond Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp as far as repaints. These are totally different characters. You get totally different heads, and then a decent amount of retool in the body. And speaking of heads, one thing about Alpha Trion, this head right here is the older Alpha Trion head. It would have been cool to get the younger head, like when he first met Orion Pax. I believe he just had like a shorter mustache or whatever. He wasn't fully this old Alpha Trion at that point. That would have been so awesome if we got a second head for this guy. But we didn't. But what we got was cool. This figure, this set is right around 80 bucks, and it's available on HasbroPost.com. That's where I got mine. Came in the mail a few days ago. I'm getting out this review now. And man, if you're a G1 fan, you just gotta have it. It's a cool set. No real flaws. I had the little cape pieces pop off a couple times on me transforming it back. I popped them right back on. But the paint's pretty good, and I'm pretty sure it varies from figure to figure. Some people might get perfect, some people might get sloppy or whatever. But this is a very cool set. I can't say more about it. And that's all I got for you. I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.
I'm Megatron. What's your name?
Orion. Orion Pax.
You monster!